Hello, I'm Don Hammock, Sports Information Director at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Bulldog Blitz. We're coming to you after an exhausting 55-33 come-from-behind win over the Southwest Bears here in Summit. We're going to talk with head coach Jack Wright, running back Jamari Thompson, and defensive tackle Kazarius Bowie while we take a look at some highlights. Then we'll introduce you to Jamari Thompson. Rarely do we do two interviews with one player in one day, but this was a special occasion. Jamari Thompson will play 10 questions. Our third segment is introducing you to new men's basketball coach Owen Miller, and he'll tell us about his 2023-24 Bulldogs. Stick around. Here on the sideline with head coach Jack Wright. Coach, that is kind of a typical JUCO game, I think, a pretty wild game. What happened after halftime that got y'all going?
I think we had a chance to kind of catch our breath as a coaching staff. There's just sitting here after the game, it's hard to remember all of the order of events there in the first quarter. It happened so fast. We had a quick drive, and they struck right back, and there were so many kick returns in there, and they all kind of blend together in my mind right now. But it was a very wild game. Obviously, we made plenty of mistakes early that allowed them to score and give them credit. They took advantage of those mistakes and put some points on the board.
The second half, it looked like y'all wanted to just kind of assert your dominance up front, and you talked about when you score a lot of points, you got to get the play up front.
We like to be balanced, Don. We love to run and throw and try to be a little bit unpredictable, and so we did come out throwing a little bit with some play action and try to hit some stuff real easy. We made some mistakes in the passing game, and that's surprising. To be honest with you, we've been really crisp in the first two games, so I'm a little bit surprised by that. But, I felt like the entire game we could run the ball. I never felt like they could, we couldn't run the football. And so we were struggling a little bit. And that's a really, really good answer to have when you're down and when you're struggling to run the football. So fortunately for us, we can do that. Some teams, when they're struggling, can't run the ball. So it really was the answer tonight, is to come back and hand off to our backs and let them get some holes behind that offensive line.
Jamari Thompson had 171 yards rushing, 22 carries. He averaged close to 8 yards. What'd you see out of T-Train?
Just really finishing runs, Don. I mean, he makes contact early, maybe shakes off. He just really, really finishes runs. When he gets into the secondary, those safeties, those corners get on him, and he always seems to fall forward and maybe knock a guy around a little bit for another 3, 4, 5 yards, and he did that a lot tonight. He took some licks. I mean, they were hitting him hard, but he did a great job of finishing runs when he got through first level.
Yeah, he kind of had to scrape himself up after he carried about 4 times, I think, on that first drive, maybe coming out of halftime. But he stayed in there. Then you bring Trey Hall in, and that touchdown run he made was unbelievable, 36-yard run.
Trey's a little spark plug. He's been really coming on, right around he started showing up at practice right around the time we kicked off for the first game. We saw a lot of promise out of him, and we went back and watched the film really close from last week, and he didn't, he made one big play on a screen pass last week. But if you watch him really close in the hole, he can do some things in the hole that are special. And so we needed him to keep coming along as a freshman and keep making those types of plays for us to be really good.
You mentioned special teams and all the returns. I mean, Dayon Bilbo was unbelievable.
I want to see the numbers, Don, when we leave here, on exactly how many return yards he had, kickoff return, punt return. He just did a fantastic job. That's the type of player he is. He's great in space. He made a couple of big pass receptions tonight in some tough situations too. So just a fantastic athlete, a great kid, and he comes to work every day. I'm glad to see he wound up with 2 touchdowns, from the offensive side tonight. But he's a dangerous guy when the ball gets in his hands. We need him. We need a little bit more juice on the perimeter, and he definitely is a guy that can give that to us.
people look at this final score and think the Regulators didn't play great. Probably wasn't their A-plus game, but they got put in some bad spots in that first half.
Sure, I mean, both sides didn't help each other out early, but I think throughout the game, as you mentioned, the running game come along, we started stopping the run on defense, and so that helped, and that kind of made them one-dimensional. They still made some plays in the passing game, though, so you got to give them credit, man. That quarterback is hard to hem down. They've got some dynamic receivers, and their offensive line, I thought, played pretty well, too. So they've got a good offense. They put up some numbers in the first two games, and that trend continued versus us.
That quarterback started the season as a defensive back. He has 2 interceptions. He didn't throw an interception tonight, so he's got more interceptions himself than he's thrown. But he was elusive all night. He did a great job. You got a huge game coming up next week. What are y'all going to be talking about here Sunday and through the week?
This is going to sound cliche, Don. East Mississippi's a big game for sure. In my mind, they're all big. We treated these guys, just as important as we're going to treat East. I'm sure, East Mississippi has all of our players' attention. They'll have our coaching staff's attention. So we've got to get back in here on Sunday, lock in, have a great week, and another road trip for us. So, just a challenge, but also an opportunity to go put our talent on display.
All right, thanks a lot, Jack.
Thank you.
On the sideline with sophomore running back Jamari Thompson, a very tired sophomore from Pearl, 22 carries, 171 yards. A lot of work in the second half. How did y'all get it done after halftime?
After halftime, we had a talk with no coaches. We all came together and told that we had to pick it up. We started out too low. We started out too slow, and we just came together as a team, and we came back for the victory.
You guys, you ran for a ton of yards, and I know you and Trey and Chandler all did good things, but what about the guys up front? What did you see from them?
Man, hey, I love the guys. They work hard every day in practice. They just opened the holes for me, and I did my job. They did an excellent job up front.
I heard Coach talk to y'all about kind of the slow starts in the first half. Y'all were sloppy, had some turnovers and all that. What do y'all have to do to get that fixed?
We just got to come in practice Sunday and just be dialed in and be locked in, taking everything one step at a time. And we just got to come together as a team.
And I know that the defense got things locked down there in the second half. They took charge too. What did you see when they were out on the field?
Defense, they was the ones who created the talk in the locker room, and they came together and said we not going for none of that no more. And they showed up. They stepped up tonight.
Got a big game next week against East Mississippi.
Yes,
you started thinking about it now?
Well, now since my mind off Southwest, yes, we gonna start thinking about East Mississippi, and we're gonna come in Sunday. Dialed in, ready to go.
Thank you, sir.
All right, yes, sir, thank you.
Here on the field with sophomore defensive tackle Kazarius Bowie from South Jackson. Kazarius, 5 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a sack. You were eating tonight. What was it like up front for you?
I mean, they tried to run the ball up front, and me personally, I took that personally. That's disrespectful, so had to shut it down. We started off slow and had to pick it up, so wanted to make a big impact for the team.
People are going to look at the score and see, y'all gave up 33 points. Y'all got put in some bad situations, and I thought y'all fought pretty well through that. What was it like there in the first quarter, especially where things were a little bit ugly for y'all?
I mean, personally, as a defense, our whole entire mindset is we don't care where you put the ball at. The ball can be on the half-yard line like it was week 1. We want to stop you. We want to force you to get a field goal, and even from there, we want you to miss the field goal. We don't want to give up any type of points. This game does not change that at all. We're going to keep on doing that throughout the season. We kept that mindset in.
Second half, I thought y'all were a lot more dominant. What changed, or what were y'all doing that got them basically shut down?
I mean, we're Gulf Coast. We know what we came here to do. Offense got defense back, defense got offensive back. It's just that simple. That's all we had to talk about when we went inside.
All right, Bowie, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Don.
At Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, we wholeheartedly believe that it's never too late to make a change for the better. It's never too late to demand more out of life. And it's never too late for you to go big. That's why MGCCC offers over 50 different career and technical programs across 3 campuses. So go big, go Gulf Coast. Register today at mgccc.edu.
Jamari Thompson was a hotel and restaurant supply player of the game for piling up 171 rushing yards on 22 carries. Since 1953, Hotel and Restaurant Supply has been supplying commercial food service equipment, related supplies, contract furniture, and custom fabrication. Go see their huge Gulfport location on John Hill Boulevard or check them out on the web at hnrsupply.com. Let's play 10 questions with running back Jamari Thompson.
My name is Jamari Thompson. I'm from Pearl, Mississippi. And Pearl, Mississippi is right outside of Jackson. It's a small town. Only thing we got there is like the movies, and that's really it. I started playing football at the age of 6, and I played for the Brandon Falcons and the Pearl Cowboys. Well, I played quarterback, receiver, kick return, safety. I played everything. I love football because it brings brotherhood. It teaches you how to handle adversity, and it's just something that I love playing and something that I love doing. Coach Louvier, that's my dog. He didn't recruit me, but Coach Maduga recruited me. But I met him when I got here, and he's been the same guy. He always cracking jokes, you know, always making fun of me, but it's all jokes. But we keep everything professional at the same time. Yeah, I seen his highlights. He was okay. He ran for 1,600, couple tutties. He was all right. My favorite musical artist is, I say Money Man. Cause his music is just real vibey, like it's smooth. Like you can ride to it, it's real groovy. Fruits, watermelon, something like that. Well, I say watermelon, I'm just pick watermelon. I'll be an entrepreneur. Have my own businesses. Real estate. I have a kennel for dogs. Just all kind of things. Just put my hands on all kind of things. I say Iron Man. He's just so flashy and he's so cool, and like he's just that guy. I'm a real low-key person. I don't go to parties. I just be vibing, just doing what I gotta do. I'll probably have Al Sandiford as my talk show, cause he's real funny, and we'll touch on a lot of things that a lot of people would probably listen to.
At Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, we wholeheartedly believe that it's never too late to make a change for the better. It's never too late to demand more out of life. And it's never too late for you to go big. That's why MGCCC caters to the needs of our non-traditional student body. So, go big. Go Gulf Coast. Register today at mgccc.edu.
Ronnie Maggio delivered the Hotel and Restaurant Supply big hit of the game on this pressure of the quarterback. Since 1953, Hotel and Restaurant Supply has been supplying commercial food service equipment, related supplies, contract furniture, and custom fabrication. Go see their huge Gulfport location on John Hill Boulevard or check them out on the web at hnrsupply.com. Coach Owen Miller is getting ready to start his first season in charge of the Gulf Coast men's basketball team. Let's let Coach Miller introduce you to his 2023-24 Bulldogs, along with his new coaching staff.
Owen Miller, I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi. I was a 1989 graduate of Gulfport High School. I spent 17 years coaching college basketball at the Division I level, 8 of those in the SEC, at Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Also coached at University of Texas, San Antonio and Colorado State. Some highlights of college. We went in 1996. I was on the staff and team that went to the NCAA Final Four, won the SEC Championship in New Orleans in the Superdome that year. At Texas San Antonio, went to 2 NCAA tournaments there. and then spent 5 years at Ole Miss working with Andy Kennedy, went to 2 NIT Final Fours there, really close to the NCAA tournament. And then the last 12 years I spent at Gulfport High, winning a state championship in 2012, 6A state championship. So some highlights of my playing career at Gulfport High. Played for the legendary Coach Burt Jenkins. Won 2 state championships there in 87 and 88. Went to the Final Four there in 89, trying to make it a three-peat, didn't quite get it done. Lost to Biloxi, who would go on to win the state championship in 89 and then again in 90. So for 4 years there on the coast, 87, 88, 89, and 90, the gold ball didn't move very far between Gulfport and Biloxi. We returned 5 guys from last year's team. We went out and signed some good players, and both in-state and out-of-state. We're still figuring it out. We don't really get caught up in what our goal is as it relates to record or championships. We're focused on just being the best basketball team to play here at Gulf Coast, and that's a daily process. We're trying to get caught up in the process instead of an end result. So we're making progress. We had 11 or 12 guys here in July, so got a lot done in those 4 weeks of summer school. I like our team. I think the strength of our team right now is our depth. We've got 10, 11, 12 guys that we feel like can play every night, and so we're going to play a style that puts us in favor of that, being able to play a lot of guys. But we've got good guard play. We had a couple transfers, and we're getting better. Like where we're at right now, we've got a long way to go. It's still mid-September, but we're getting there. We're lifting weights 3 days a week. We're practicing Monday through Sunday, and so we're making progress. We just have to keep that up. You know, we returned some sophomores. Jamari Robinson was I want to say our leading scorer last year. He's back, got about 12 a game, and he is making improvements, getting stronger. Anthony Robinson was a guy that's a third-year guy now. He's been hurt, but he's back. He came back last Thursday. He's just hadn't been a bad injury, but it was some tendonitis in the knee. And just making sure that he's back where he needs to be before we let him go when he's back. You know, he's a skilled guy at 6'6" that can play multiple positions. Javion Gordon's another kid that's a third-year guy that has really made improvement, and the style we're going to play fits him. So I think that he's going to be able to do some things this year that really complement what we're doing, and also himself. And then Big O is a kid we signed out of McLennan Junior College from Atlanta, Georgia, and he's got a chance to be really good. He just does a lot of things. He's kind of a positionless guy. He's about 6'6" with a 7'1" wingspan, really athletic, can play in and out, and I think you're going to see some really good things out of him. John Davis was a kid, as you look at his numbers last year, didn't get a lot of time. He really had a good off season. He's put on about 15 pounds. And I think that he's going to have a good year and kind of a breakout year for him. He's getting he lost some confidence last year. We've talked about that. And I think he's earning his confidence back. So we've got some good sophomores. Nick Crass is a sophomore that was at Oregon State last year. Played about 8 minutes a game for them. St. Patrick High School in Gulfport, and was a really big get for us. You know, he's played Power 5. Had a lot of opportunities out of high school to go a lot of different places. He's a 6'4" guard that had his knee scoped this summer. We expect him back in about a week. So anxious to get him on the floor. He comes with a big pedigree, and one of the hardest workers I've been around. He's just constantly in the gym. He works at his game, and he's coming day to day. So anxious to get him out practicing with our guys every day. Demarius Coleman, a.k.a. Fat Boy from Harrison Central High School, was at Itawamba last year. Really familiar with him, playing against him when I was coaching at Gulfport. He's just a gnat, you know, he's a pest on the ball and pest on defense, and he's a good spot-up shooter, and he provides depth for this team. We signed a lot of freshmen, in fact. The first one would be, we'll talk about Duran Parrish, who was at Vanderbilt, was a football player. Played 4 sports at Biloxi High School. He was runner-up to MVP to Mr. Basketball in the state of Mississippi last year. He's 6'1", about 185 pounds. Fans are going to really enjoy watching him play. He's really physical, plays on both ends of the floor, and it was a big get for us. We got him late as football didn't work out for him at Vanderbilt. Jamari Bowie, another kid, 6'1" guard out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Physical guard, can really score, can stop and start. And the first guy I went and saw when I got the job here, me and Coach Wyndham went over to Lafayette to a showcase, and he caught our eye immediately. Just kidding, he's left-handed, which we think's a natural advantage. And I think he's going to get better and better, and we're expecting big things out of him. Kaiwe out of Divine Savior High School in Miami. He came over from Brazil. He's been in the country 4 years. He's a 6'4" guard, a strong young man that really shoots the ball. Every time it comes out of his hand, you think it's going in, and he's going to be able to stretch the floor for us. He's physical, and he's getting better daily, like what he's going to be. And played with a really good AAU team there, and so we expect big things out of him this year, especially shooting the basketball. Trace Joseph from Pascagoula High School, he's a freshman. This is his second year in the program. He broke his wrist last year, so he was redshirted. He's 6'8", very skilled. I'm very familiar with Trace, playing against him at Pascagoula when I was coaching at Gulfport. Shoots the three, just has to continue to get stronger, and he is going to be able to stretch the floor as well as a 6'8" guy that has a skill set that really bodes to what we're doing. Larry Lee from Raymond High School. Larry's about 6'6", 6'7", physical guy. Won a couple state championships at Raymond with Jabari Robinson. Larry was highly sought after from all the JUCOs here in the state. He had 21 rebounds against Biloxi, had 17 in the state championship game. Just has a knack for the ball, and he makes sure that he reminds me that he's from Utica, Mississippi, not Raymond. So he's going to do big things here at Gulf Coast. I saw a couple games the last couple years. From talking to the other coaches, I have good relationships with a lot of the coaches. You know, it's wide open. I think as you look at rosters, probably Southwest has the most coming back. A lot of the other teams in this league have kind of turned over. Colin won the regular season. I think they lost 5 starters or 4 of their 5 starters. Meridian won the region tournament. They're a brand new team. They lost a majority of their team. So, I think the league is open. I think that there's, as we look at this and as we're beginning, I don't think there's a clear favorite. I think that, Itawamba was really good. Itawamba's got some pieces coming back, but they lost their best player. So I think it's wide open. I'll be anxious to get into it and get to know it a little better by just being in it day to day. Keith Wyndham, who was here last year, we kept Keith, and it was very obvious when I got the job here, spending a couple weeks with him, that he was a guy that was not only good at recruiting and on the floor, but just had great relationships throughout the campus, and was respected throughout the campus. His work ethic was where it needs to be, and really pleased to be able to keep him. I think he's a rising star in our business and is going to continue to grow and grow. And then we hired Austin Barton as a volunteer coach from the University of New Orleans. He was a graduate assistant there. And Austin has been in a Division I program the last 2 years, kind of knows what to do, and really pleased with what's going on with him. G played for 2 really good coaches there at Nicholls State, Richie Riley, who's now the head coach at South Alabama, and Austin Clonch, who just left Nicholls State to become an assistant coach with Nate Oates at Alabama. So he comes from a really good pedigree. Also played high school basketball at John Curtis, who's had a fantastic program there. So we're excited about our staff, excited to have 3 people on board. So that helps with our staff. So I'm excited about our staff and excited for those guys to move on and go on to meet their goals. Just blown away with the facilities here at Gulf Coast. Obviously you can see we're here in Dantzler Arena, and it's top notch. It's a great environment for basketball. It gets really loud in here. It's just what Dr. Graham and her staff have done for facilities here at Gulf Coast are just phenomenal. We've got a brand new weight room. I say brand new weight room. It's new, but it's fantastic. We have our own strength coach and Coach Howard and his staff. the King Center over where football's located, in our training room. I'm just blown away by them, and we've brought people in here and they can't believe what's happened here. We've got brand new dorms, got a brand new student union where our guys eat every day. So the facilities here are as good as you're going to get here in our league and across the region. So we're excited about that. You know, this place sells itself. Our job is to get guys here, to get prospects here. We can get them here and we do our due diligence. It's going to sell itself.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Bulldog Blitz. Next week is a huge showdown against East Mississippi. We'll talk to you after the game in Scuba next week.